Hello, everyone, and welcome to ARM's Innovation Coffee. Hello, and once again, welcome to Innovation Coffee brought to you by ARM. My name is Robert Wolff, your host this week and every week at 5 p.m. UTC, where the coffee is hot, but the innovation is hotter. We are joined by guests on a weekly basis, amazing individuals doing amazing things on ARM, in and around the ARM ecosystem and all around the world. Now, I want to remind everyone that if you're watching this and you enjoy the broadcast, whether you're watching live or on demand, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the ARM Software Developers YouTube channel, because we put out lots of content like this and amazing things all over the place showcased here on the channel. So what is happening today, and what is this episode about? Today, we are joined by some great individuals around the world, Women in Engineering, to celebrate International Women in Engineering Day. So I want to first start off, before I bring in a co-host of mine, Mary Bennion. She will be joining me to co-host this episode, and our panel of Women in Engineering. We will first talk a little bit about the history of this great day. So Women in Engineering Day is actually tomorrow, June 23rd. But since we do Innovation Coffee on Thursdays, we thought we would celebrate it today. Number two, believe it or not, the Women in Engineering Day launched, or the Women in Engineering Society were the folks who launched Women in Engineering Day. And this society was formed back in 1919. So this was following World War I. Women started doing a lot of engineering roles when others went out and battled the war. And so when the men came back, women wanted to keep these roles, these jobs in engineering. And so this society formed, and women kept these jobs, which was an amazing thing. Now, 100 years later, pretty much, 100 and some odd years later, in 2014, they established the Women in Engineering Day. So what are some ways that you all can kind of get more engaged in this day? One of the things that you can do to get more engaged in this day is to take some time tomorrow. And this is some stuff I was kind of doing myself today in preparation for this episode, but to take some time tomorrow on Women in Engineering Day and go explore some of the great things that women have done throughout the last 100 years to further the progress of humanity in terms of engineering. And this is why we are here today. And I am just more than excited, more than pleased to introduce my co-host here, Mary Bennion from ARM. So Mary, hello, how are you?
Hey, Rob, I am great. And, I've been trying to get on your show for like over a year. So I'm so glad that I finally was able to be here with you today. So appreciate it.
Did I do okay, Mary, on the history background?
You did. I think, we only have a limited time here. So the summary was good. There's a lot of information on it. We could do literally I'm sure they do whole college courses on this in university. But it's great to see that there's, a specific day that people can go and learn and kind of read up on women in engineering, and also women engineers that, you may not know about. So I can mention a few if you'd like.
Oh, please, yes.
But first, let me say who I am, just so people don't think I'm some random off the street here. It's so Mary Bennion, and I'm Director of Ecosystem and Partner and Developer Marketing here at ARM. So what our team does is we manage the formal partner programs at ARM, so AI Partner Program, IoT, infrastructure, automotive. And I get to work with partners across all of ARM's ecosystem. So I always feel, sometimes I say I have the best job at ARM because I get to talk to startup companies creating the latest technology. I get to, learn about what they're doing. We get to, do webinars such as this and teach people how to use the things and build the things on top of ARM. So it's great. I've been at ARM for about 6 years. So that's me.
You do have the best. You do have one of the best jobs. I will say. I mean,
there's a lot of good jobs here, but yeah.
Cool too. Yeah,
yes,
it's up there.
yes. You have a good job too, Rob. So, but so back to the Women in Engineering Day. So I'm just going to highlight a few that I didn't know about. When I was kind of coming up in tech, I grew up in Silicon Valley, so it's kind of been surrounded. I've been surrounded by it. But so I'll start with Ada Lovelace, born in 1815, right? So she's considered the first computer programmer. She wrote about the computer, which it was called the analytical engine, but it was never built. However, she was the first one that realized that a computer could follow a series of simple instructions, a program to perform a complex calculation. So that was pretty cool. 1815, who knew? And then the one that actually surprised me quite a bit too was Hedy Lamarr. So Hedy Lamarr invented Wi-Fi technology and actually received the patent in 1942. So she owned this patent, but then she donated it to the US government during World War II to help fight Nazis. And it was really specifically used to to navigate torpedoes under the water. And what she's mostly known for was a Hollywood bombshell. But she was a serious engineer, and apparently she had a lab in her trailer on sets where she would conduct engineering experiments and projects. It's just really, really amazing to learn about how much of an engineer she really was. And I think acting was something she just did, but I think truly, had she been in a different generation, she would have been like, a professional, a career engineer. And then lastly, the ones that I also learned about recently was the three women at NASA that were portrayed in the movie Hidden Figures and a book of the same name. Highly recommend both if anybody hasn't seen the movie or read the book. But Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, and they served as the brains behind one of the greatest operations in history, which was the launch of astronaut John Glenn into orbit, which was amazing. They did all their calculations by hand, they just reams of paper. And they were, it was segregated back then. They were had to deal with some of the issues in the 60s in the United States, and they transcended all that. And really, really, really impressive. So, I mean, there's so many other women in engineering that we could just list on and on and on and on. But
Grace Hopper.
There's Grace Hopper. I didn't mention Grace Hopper because I think a lot of people know about her. But yes, of course, Grace Hopper. We could just probably have done a whole show just on engineers, women engineers from generations leading up.
You know what, Mary? I appreciate very much what you shared. I have now 3 tabs open for my own reading later, but I'm going to tell you about 3 women in engineering that we have today on the show.
Yes, let's get to them.
Let's bring them in. All right.
Yes.
So number 1, we have Margaret Richardson. So let's bring Margaret in. She is a lecturer at the University of Ghana. Hello, Margaret. How are you?
I'm fine.
Excellent. Then we have, looks like we lost Dominica. So we're going to need to wait for Dominica to get back, but that's okay. We have Sudhi Das, who is an engineering manager at ARM, where we are today. So cool. While we wait for Dominica to get back, we have another engineer, an AI engineer that will be joining us as well, one of our third guests. Let's start with, Margaret and Sudhi. So what we kind of like to do on these episodes, kicking it off, is to get to know you, who you are, and what you do, right? So before we dive into an icebreaker question, I think if you wouldn't mind just kind of telling us a little bit about yourself, take a minute or two and just tell us about yourself, what you do, and maybe a personal anecdote if you'd like. So Margaret, we got Dominica coming back in here. Let's see.
Hi, everyone.
Real quick, Dominica Amanfo, AI engineer at Fourth IR. So Dominica, we're just starting the round of introductions here. So we're going to start with Margaret, and then we'll go to you next. All right.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm Margaret. I'm Richardson Ph.D. at University of Ghana as a lecturer. I did my higher national diploma in electronic engineering in Ghana. Then I went to the Netherlands for my bachelor's, a top-up, just a bridge program for 2 years, and then I went to China for my master's, and then I came back to University of Ghana for my PhD. So currently, I am teaching in the University of Ghana. So basically, that's Margaret. And my field, my research interest is in wireless communication, basically in low power wireless networks. So I've been working on wireless sensor network a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret. Dominica, I think it's your turn. Is your audio working? You good? You back? Maybe not. Okay. Well, Sudi, we'll go with you then. While we wait for Dominica's internet to catch up, we'll go with you, Sudi. So, Sudi, who are you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Sudi. I am an engineering manager in ARM. I come from India. I did my bachelor's back in India, and then I came here in the UK to do my master's at Oxford. And since then, I've been working here in the UK. 6.5 years in ARM.
Very nice, Sudi. Awesome. So, I feel so bad that Dominica's having internet issues because it was working so well earlier. In the meantime, we have one of our producers behind the scenes, Michael. Dominica, are you hearing us now? This is the curse of the demo gods here. When we go live, it just has to happen. Something has to happen. Michael, would you mind? We have our producer behind the scenes. Michael, would you mind working with Dominica in the private chat to kind of help her fix her issues here? We're going to continue moving on. Okay, perfect. So, Mary, you got some icebreaker questions for our guests.
I do. Are we is Ilan on board as well?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Did Ilan drop as well? How did we forget Ilan?
No, Robert, you forgot about Ilan. You need to drink some more coffee.
It's not the first time it's happened.
Oh, my God. Ilan Tender, head of technical programs at ARM. We have one more introduction to do. Ilan, please tell us about yourself, what you do.
So I had actually started out with programming when I was 11 years old. It was the only way I could get out of the cafeteria at school and away from the mean girls. So there was a program that was introduced to my school where 4 students could volunteer to learn how to program. And I was hooked from the start. This was back in the 80s, and we were having to develop our own adventure games in BASIC, and we would store them on our little drives, our little disk drives that we would carry around with us. And it just sort of shaped my entire future. And I ended up at ARM the first time in 2005, and they taught me the beauty of product management. So it was another kind of direction away from development that I've really enjoyed.
Very cool, Ilan. And I'm so sorry, Ilan. We're gonna make up for this. All right, we got some good questions, and it sounds like also,
I accept chocolate.
Okay, big old bag of chocolate. I'm bringing it over when I come to the UK next time. Actually, I'll see you at Open Sauce. We'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But so, Dominica, is it working now? Give it another try.
Yes, it's working now. Thank you.
Right, great. Welcome. And Dominica, we want to get to know you. Who are you? What do you do?
Hello, everyone. So my name is Dominica Abena Oforiwaa Amanfo, and I graduated from computer engineering at the University of Ghana. Currently, I'm an AI engineer at Fort IR, and I'm responsible for developing intelligent algorithms which can learn, analyze, and then predict future outcomes. Yeah. Awesome.
Very cool. And I'm looking at your background and your shirt. You have an ARM shirt on, and you have an ARM box next to you.
Right? Yeah, I just received my kits.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, but that's the kit for the ARM developer program, right? The ARM ambassador kit? Oh, okay. Cool. So you got the beanie, you got the cup and all that stuff?
The socks,
Yeah, the swag. Stuff. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Okay, well, Mary, now I think it's time we have the
let's do some icebreakers to get everybody warmed up before we get into the main event. So Margaret, we got your introduction, and so this is a fun icebreaker. Is what stuff do you have at your desk right now? And what project are you currently working on at the moment?
Okay, so currently I'm working on these products from ARM and STM32.
Nice. It's the discovery board.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I introduced that to my students in computer architecture, and because I wanted to adapt the curriculum of ARM for that course, I also contacted ARM and they sent me all these tools. And
awesome.
I'm working with them. So currently, some are using it for precision farming, and then others are working on smart city, and we are incorporating it with LoRaWAN so that it can be accessed remotely. So basically, currently, that's what we are doing.
That's great. I'd be interested to learn more about the Smart City project. So maybe I'll ping you offline to hear more about that. That's great.
Yeah, I'm also curious, what is precision farming, if I heard that right?
Yes. So it's basically what people call smart farming.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So like smart city, smart farming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the precision makes it like you add exact whatever material you need to add, you add exactly what is needed. Not
like,
if it's irrigation, not extra. If it's fertilization, not extra. So that makes it precision.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Makes sense, right? Like reducing waste of water, conserving resources as much as possible while also maximizing your crop yields. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I guess it's my turn. Mary. I get the next question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Who do I go with? Sudi, I get to ask you a question. So Sudi, icebreaker number 1. Intro, could you give us an intro to where you're from, where you come from, and a bit of your cultural background?
Sure. Very interesting. So as I mentioned before, I come from India. Although, I grew up in Delhi, which is the capital city. And culturally, India is pretty rich and diverse. A lot of people and in terms of women in engineering, we now do have a very good men to women ratio in universities and early careers. So proud of all of that, but India is also a country of contradictions and also very traditional and patriarchal. So at least when I grew up in the 90s, being the only girl child was a very rarity because everybody wanted a boy. So yeah, and then I can see other people laughing, smiling at that. So I know people can relate. But yeah, then moving to pursue something like computer science, which is pretty new, and then moving to a different country to study. So yeah, I kind of lucked out with my parents and my family and the support system that I had.
Yeah.
That's great. It's really important to have the family support as well. Really, really good.
Yeah, India. I went to India, Mumbai, like several years ago, and talking about like the culture that I want to say. Now, I haven't been everywhere in the world yet, but the places that I have been, I think the first place I want to go back to is India. I feel like you could live 20, 30, 40 lifetimes and not even experience it in one city in India.
Oh, yeah.
So layers on top of layers, and there's just so much.
Yeah, it's like a mini Europe. Like you can drive a few hours and there'll be a different language people will be speaking, different religion people will be following, different kinds of food they will be eating. So yeah, there's lots to explore.
My favorite, Balpaji. That's my favorite. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I love talking about travel and places around the world.
Same. We could do a travel episode about technology around the world. My experiences in India, the impression I was left with, it's a 24-hour country. It never sleeps. There's always something going on, and the energy is palpable. You can really feel it. All All right, I think next icebreaker is for you, Ilan. And so we got a bit of your intro, but what exactly do you do for the developer community and some of the projects that you are currently working on, and anything around that?
Yep. So I currently work on bringing technical content from across the ARM ecosystem, our partners, our developers. I have them contribute short form videos or long hands-on workshops that are meant to help educate software developers out in the world who may not even realize that they're developing on an ARM-based device, but we want to help them develop correctly, efficiently, performant code, and as secure as possible. And the Developer Hub has intentionally been designed to not have any login requirements, to not have any registration requirements. We want to make it as accessible as possible and send people onward to other sites where they can get more information or sample code or documentation, just to help people get the information that they need.
Yeah. And Ilan, I've seen you present, and I've seen some of the stuff you do, and it's always really, really interesting, and it's not boring, and it's super relevant. So I would highly recommend anybody listening to check out some of the content that comes from Ilan's team. All right, I think we have one more icebreaker. Robert, do you want to throw it out to Dominica? Right? Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Real quick before we go into that icebreaker, Ilan, I just want to say I'm so excited about the Developer Hub. I cannot wait until we're just blasting it all across the airwaves, and the developers, I think, are going to love it. Developers, just wait, you'll see. We have a whole episode next week on it too. So it'll be
and cool. We are going to be constantly uploading new content all the time. So if anyone wants to contribute as well, contribute. Yes. And consume.
Contribute, consume. No hostages held. We're okay with you going. We're okay with you exploring.
Unless they're fun.
Unless they're fun. Yeah.
That's right.
All right, Dominica. Here we go.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. So I would like it if you could please provide us with an intro to some of the projects that you're working on and what stuff you have on your desk. And because we didn't get to play this last time, we're going to do a little bit of an MTV Cribs type thing here. So Dominica, what's on your desk? I wanted to play that before Margaret too, but we got you this time.
Thank you for the question. I really wish I could show you the product, but it's more of a software product. So I'm currently working with a team to create a Know Your Customer application. Actually, the first version is already out. So if you want to know more, you could check out virtualkycanalyst.com. So what it does is it has a range of features, and it helps you to streamline processes, reduce risk, and then improve customer experience, all using artificial intelligence. So you'd have your Know Your Customer process automated. And a Know Your Customer process is basically, it's a process that banks and finance firms use to, as the name says, know their customers. So they check your background, they check your finances, the people you're working with, where you're coming from, your country of origin, and then if you're politically exposed. Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. You guys should check it out.
Did I get this right here, Dominica? Is this the website? I hope.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. All right, there's a nice little plug. Virtual KYC Analyst. And for those people who don't know what KYC stands for, it stands for Know Your Customer. So it's pretty known term in the crypto space for those people who go and try to knock KYC into an exchange or banking. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Thank you, Dominica. Is it still me to bring on the first question, Mary?
You or me? I can take it.
You go ahead.
It's fine. So Margaret, how did you hear about the ARM Developer Program, and what motivated you to become an ARM ambassador? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so how I got to know about it is when I joined the university, my first students project, the project student I had, they took a long time to get the products they need for the project they were doing. So I started searching online where I could get board. Then I went on the website, and then that was how I got in contact. So I filled the forms and I got in contact, and then somebody from contacted me, and they even visited my university and had MOU signed, and that is how we got in touch. And then the second part of the question
is what was your motivation to become an ARM ambassador?
Sure. My motivation, I've always been, since my undergraduate, I've been in women in engineering, and what we used to do is to go out to the basic schools to motivate students to take up engineering programs. So I've been doing that since, and so I wanted a more area to more support, so that I get more support to go out and then rope a lot of students in, especially with the universities. People start out with science, but with the science they only know about medical doctor, nursing, and the biological aspect. The physical sciences, they run away from it. So we are trying to catch them young so that they come.
Yeah.
So you have a class of about 45 students, sometimes 70 students, and you have 3 ladies or at most 10 ladies. So it's not the best. So we are trying to catch them young. And so becoming an ambassador will give me a bigger backbone to do more.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. And it sounds like you've been being an ambassador anyway throughout your career, and really, really important work. I agree, you got to catch them young, right? To get them interested and get them hooked into the love of engineering and programming. All right, thank you so much, Margaret. I guess let's get the second question. Looks like I'm still up. So Sudi, let's go to you. So we heard about your background, and would love to know more about what you're doing at ARM. And so what kind of deliveries are you working on, and how do you help the developer ecosystem with some of the work that you're doing here at ARM?
Sure. So when I first joined ARM, I joined in the GCC, the GNU Tools team, which is a source team that works to support new ARM architecture, the GCC compiler. So as a developer, if you're using GCC to compile your cross-compile or natively compile your code, you're probably hitting something that I've written, which is...
That's awesome.
Yeah. Currently, I'm working in a team that contributes to a different product that ARM releases. It's called the FAST models. So they are sort of functional models of the hardware. And either that or the fixed virtual platforms, but they also consume fast models. So if you're either using fast model or an FVP, that's where you would also come across something that has been involved with. My team specifically works towards the GPU component of the model.
Great. And I know some of those, the FVP platforms are available on our ARM virtual hardware platform, the Core Stones. So if anybody is interested in testing some of that out, they're available on arm.avh.com. Robert, maybe we can drop that link in.
Arm.avh, the ARM virtual hardware?
avh.arm. Yeah, the ARM virtual hardware platform, which
Michael will get that up.
These FVPs are available. So, and I love them. I think they're great. They've actually really helped some of our software ecosystem partners to perform functional testing on models before the hardware is available. So,
yeah,
nice. Good stuff.
Very nice. Yeah, so I got 2 things here. Dominica, I have a question for you in a minute here, but I want to just touch on some of the stuff that Sudi mentioned, as well as reminding our guests that, not our guests, our viewers, that if as you get to know this panel, feel free to post questions in the chat if you have questions for them, and or Mary or myself. Feel free to post questions in the chat. We'll bring them to our guests. And then number two, you mentioned GCC, that the compiler. It brings me back to, first of all, kind of my early days of learning to code, and then second of all, once I got into industry, going to hackathons and bringing hardware to hackathons like Raspberry Pis or the Dragon Board 410C 96 board stuff, and then the students would come up to me and be like, "Yeah, but where's the IDE? Uh-oh, what's happening here? Where's the IDE?" And I'm like, "Just use a text editor, Nano or Vim or something." It's like, that's like the original IDE. And then, "Oh, but how do I compile?" I'm like, "You've never used GCC before." Students these days are using these big clunky IDEs that do everything for them. It's like, okay, well, here you do a GCC file name, output what you want, and it blows their mind. They're like, "Oh, this is what's happening behind the scenes." So that's really cool to hear that you're a big contributor there. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right, Dominica, you're up. You ready? Uh-oh. I feel so bad. She's been having internet troubles this whole time. So I mean, I guess maybe we'll go right to Alon's question while Dominica gets settled again. All right.
Yeah.
Alon, didn't forget about you this time.
Thank you.
Alon and me are on the same team, and so I wanted to ask you this question because I'm genuinely, interested in this from you. What inspired you to be involved in the developer program?
That's a really good question. So when I started programming when I was 11 years old, it was purely because it was accessible, it was close, it was during the lunch hour, and it was free. Growing up, I couldn't afford university. I had started working full-time at 14 in restaurants and hotels, and I thought that was my future, and programming was for fun. And when I was 23, somebody said to me, "Why aren't you working in software?" And I said, "Well, I couldn't afford university. I don't have a degree." And they said, "Go to the technical bookstore and read books." So in Portland, Oregon, where I grew up, there was a bookstore called Powell's Technical Books. And I would go there for hours when I wasn't working and just read these technical books front to back, one after another. And the employees loved it. I felt guilty because I wasn't buying anything because I couldn't afford it. But they made it accessible to me to learn everything that was written in a book. And after 6 months of that, I went and got my first job in software development. And that was almost 30 years ago. It was 30 years ago. And because of that, I've had this amazing career. I've traveled the world. I live in England. And I want to bring that accessibility to everyone else around the world who may not see it as an option, who may not be able to afford university. And so the developer program, bringing learning paths and bringing technical videos and bringing community of other software developers that also want to share their knowledge is quite a personal ambition of mine.
Amazing. That's really cool. Actually, you've inspired me now.
Oh, well,
me too.
Yeah. Very cool. Maybe Mary, if you want to take the question for Dominica.
Yes, Dominica. Hi. So what advice would you give young women interested in ARM technology or becoming ARM ambassadors? What advice would you extend to them to help them along that journey?
Okay, so interesting question. The first one will be to foster curiosity and continue learning. If you want to be an ARM ambassador, you have to know a lot about ARM technologies. You have to know how to use it. We have a Discord. We have a Discord channel. Where people ask questions, you get to answer them. So the more knowledge you accumulate, the more meaningful you being an ARM ambassador will be, and then the more impact you can make. Also, you can join the students club at school. You can also join the developer community where you have access to more learning platforms. I just joined, but I'm learning so much in like a short period. So I think it will be useful for you to join. You should also look at the ARM education section. As Elan mentioned, when you go to the website, you get pointed to so many documentations, codes, videos, and they're not boring because they're not boring.
Yeah.
And they'll be interesting to read. Some have pictures. They are amazing video graphics as well. You should also gain hands-on experience And being an ARM developer is going to help you get hands-on experience, because you'll be exposed to virtual tools which you can also use to learn more. Also seek mentorship. The embedded learning challenge, there are guidance and mentors around. You could always connect with someone that's you feel is in your field and someone you want to learn from. They would help you. Also network. Go for networking events. Go for tech events. The Tiny ML Discord, join the developer Discord, join, network with us, and also develop your soft skills. Very important: communication, leadership, and then teamwork skills. Because you can be the most skilled person, but if you can't work with a team, you would be like 70% useless. Trust me. And you should also
Yes.
embrace challenge. Yeah, you should embrace challenges, because challenges are opportunities for growth. So don't shy away from taking risks. Yeah.
No, that's all awesome. I was going to say that the mentorship and the networking is really important. And then I think your message, you just got to get out there and do it, because I think some women, they're just shy, even though they want to. It's hard for them to take that first step to maybe reach out and show up to an event where you don't know anybody. But I think that if you're able to do that, people are so welcoming and they want to help. And engineers and developers, the developer community in general is just so like, they love the technology so much. They're willing to share, and they'll help you and they'll pull you along. So I think that's such great advice. Everything you said is so great. Yeah. Yes. So basically what she said, I don't have anything to add.
I love how instead of saying 30% useful, she said 70% useless.
Yeah, 70% useless. Yes.
Yeah. To place emphasis on it.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Actually, Mary, I think you're still up here. We have a question for Margaret.
Yes. So Margaret, just along the theme of your ARM ambassadorship and how you were just doing this in general, is just being an ambassador, is, what things down the road do you want to get out of the program, and how do you envision, us supporting ARM, supporting you in the work that you do with the communities that you're involved with?
So thank you very much. Because I'm already in the school setting, I want my students to be prepared and be ready for industry before they leave. So I'm already an ambassador for I'm Engaged and a mentor. So as part of that, I'm enrolling students into I'm Engaged, where they meet almost every week, and then they do hands-on projects. But sometimes we lack the tools, and so joining ambassadorship will give me all the tool sets that I need to help them to develop themselves. So basically that is what I need. And then especially going out to the basic schools, I also need some materials that will help them. So I know I'm going to get all of them as an ambassador, because ARM has the capacity to provide all that.
Yes, definitely. And we're really, we love being able to help people such as yourselves and the work that you're doing with the institutions and the schooling to provide the tools. I know from my experience, I've been able to pull in partners that are in part of ARM's ecosystem that would also like to get involved in these education activities. And so that is one of the benefits and the strengths of ARM is our ecosystem, not just developers, but our partners. And everybody really is willing to and likes to get in there and support education initiatives, and especially on early education as well. So we definitely do that. I know Rob, you've been involved in some of these activities as well. So I think my takeaway is you just ask, and we'll do what we can to get you what you need, whether it's hardware or collateral content, any of that. So, but that's great. I think the work you're going to be doing with us is going to be is so important. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love our ARM ambassadors, and again, I think we'll pull up the ARM developer program URL there at the bottom. If you aren't already an ARM ambassador or part of the ARM developer program, I highly encourage you, if you're building something on ARM or just interested in getting into this space, go check it out. And resonating on what Mary said here, and Margaret, everyone in Dominica, you being our ARM ambassadors, we're here to help you out, right? We want to give you the support that you need in terms of hardware. We have, we want to help you with hardware. We want to help connect you with the engineers at ARM. Maybe Sudi can put some time aside for you if you have a question about the fast models and stuff. So there's lots of opportunities in the program. So that's awesome.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, cool. So I have a question here. I want to bring Sudi back in the mix, Mary. So I'm going to steal your question, and then maybe you could take mine for Dominica right after. Sudi,
Sure.
real quick, what did you do to progress your career to become an engineering manager? This, I guess maybe if we could paint this in the way of advice for female engineers out there who want to pursue this path.
Yeah, sure, for sure. I think one of the key things that I look back now is even though I didn't have a formal mentor, but I had somebody in my team very early on who kind of had those chats with me, kind of like a mentor. And now I do have a mentor. So I think having a mentor definitely is a very good step. They kind of helped me look past what I was doing. Like, okay, I'm having fun. I'm writing my pattern. It's getting committed. Well, what do I want to do in the next few years? So that kind of helped me channel that and think about that. Think about different positions that were around me, to think that where can I be in the next few years, and think about, okay, is that position something that this person is doing, something that I would like to do, and trying to talk about those kind of roles. Another big thing that helped me was, again, sort of people pushing me a bit, because when I switched to the fast models team, I switched to a very different technology. I moved from compilers to models. I moved from working in A-class CPU architectures to GPU architectures, and from being an engineer to an engineering manager. So it was a huge sort of leap for me, and I was not at all ready to take it. But again, I had the mentors or my partner who kind of pushed me to do it. Okay, it's okay. You want to change. It is maybe hard. Take a leap for a bit. So I kind of it helped that I was moving internally, so I could say that, okay, I'll do a 6 months rotation, and if everything goes terrible, I'll come back to what I was doing. So that helped me a lot as well. And yeah, this is my story, I think.
That's cool. Alon, did you want to maybe comment on this? I want to say, real quick here, that not everyone desires to go into the managerial path, and that's cool, right? That's fine as well. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to add that there.
No, it's very true. Actually, I went up the managerial path all the way up to a VP at a couple of companies, but it wasn't really for me. And a mentor got me into product management, which is where you get to define the requirements for the products. You get to see how users use it, what the market needs, what the market already has, and you spec out what the next product will be. And talking about Dominica's reference to soft skills, that kind of meshing of deeply technical, hands-on engineering combined with some of those soft skills to be able to talk to customers and talk to users, really, it appealed to me so much. And yeah, not everyone wants to follow a defined path, and those mentors make such a difference.
Yeah, and I'll say, Sudi, as you comment, you were kind of feeling overwhelmed or maybe not ready, and you're kind of nervous. And I'll say that, as women, we always, we see a job description. If we don't meet every single requirement, we don't think we're qualified. And really, and this is the joke, and men see a job description, and if they meet one of the requirements, they're like, I could do that job and my boss's job. Give it to me. It's just this level of confidence. And so I think we have to work a little extra hard and train ourselves to, even if we don't feel like maybe imposter syndrome-y, or maybe we're just, kind of hesitant, just take the risk, take that step, because the reality is you are qualified. We're qualified, and you grow into it, and that's how we learn and evolve. And so I think that just as women, it's always a challenge for us to feel that confidence, and mentorship definitely helps, but also, as Dominica mentioned, you just got to get out there and put yourself out there and start talking to people. So yeah, that was my takeaway from Sudi's comments, and Elon's.
Well, we have a Dominica fan in the audience right now.
Hi.
I think you have more than
Awesome. There's quite a few.
I'm a Dominica fan.
Yeah, there you go. Well, welcome, Kobe. Yeah,
Nice,
sorry,
nice.
Mary, didn't interrupt.
Hi, Kobe.
No worries. I think we have a couple more questions here. So I'm going to go to, I think it's Dominica's turn. And I wanted to ask, do you have any significant projects or initiatives that you are actively participating in as an ARM ambassador that you'd like to share with everybody?
Yeah, okay, so I'll share one project and a few initiatives. So the project was my capstone project from the university. So in a team of 4, we built an EKG, a portable ECG device, and integrated machine learning on it. And this was supposed to detect and then classify cardiac arrhythmia. So cardiac arrhythmia is a condition where the heart beats either too fast or too slow. And then during our literature review, we realized that we didn't really have devices like standalone devices for detection and classification of cardiac arrhythmia. So we worked with the Kolebu Cardiothoracic Center in Ghana. It's one of the biggest cardiothoracic center in Ghana. And that was my capstone project. So we used Raspberry Pi and then Arduino for that project.
Nice.
Yes. So now I'll talk about the initiatives. So I volunteered for Maker Faire, and then Maker Faire was supposed to project the impact ARM is already making in Africa, as well as projecting Maker's Place project. So Maker's Place is an ARM local partner, and they focus on developing the skills of K-12 students. So that's like students back in high school, junior high school, and then elementary school.
Uh-oh. So
Internet. Well, we got a lot of that. That's pretty great. The
I think she's back.
Oh, is she back? Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you cut out. Sorry, you cut out.
I'm so sorry. I'm alternating between 2 routers as we speak.
It's okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just reiterate on my last statement. Makers Place, what they do. So they're STEM.org accredited learning and skills development company, and then it's an organization actually, and then they focus on training K-12 students. They're also an ARM local partner. I also volunteered during the deployment of the ARM labs in Ghana. I'm sure you heard about it. It was all over the ARM blogs. Mm-hmm. So ARM deployed, ARM deployed 5 labs in Ghana. It's now 6 though. So in Ashesi, University of Ghana, Makers Place, and a few other places. I was also a tutor for Makers Place. That was November, December. So I prepared training materials and lab sessions using the Nano RP 2040. I think last year it was quite new, so ARM was trying to promote its usage, and then they brought it to Ghana. So I had to learn about it, learn about the specifications, and then teach 8 students how to use RP 2040. So we built some projects. It wasn't large projects because we lacked hardware. But then there was a project where we would use the RP to control the light in the room, or to measure how fast someone is walking, or to measure how slow someone is walking. And this can be particularly useful for maybe if you're going for a walk or for exercising.
Yeah.
The last one was I was the facilitator for the ecosystem event. So that's the ARM Engage ecosystem event. And it was to bring all the ARM Engage student clubs together in one room for networking purposes, and also to introduce how ARM started in a barn in Cambridge, and then to also display the kind of project they are doing in their schools. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool.
I think somebody should grab you as a mentor. It sounds like you'd be a really, really good one. So,
Thank
you should, yeah. So you should get snapped up as a mentor for a few people for sure.
I'm glad we have her as an ambassador. You, Margaret, you too. You and Dominica, 2 amazing ambassadors here.
Both of them, yeah.
And I don't know, Sudi, if you're signed up to be an expert yet, but if you're not, we got to get you signed up to be one of our ARP experts. So, yeah, please. So a question came in from the audience here. This is from Hybrid Robotics. He's one of our regulars. And I love this question, but I'm going to rephrase it a little bit here. when you look at a job rec, right? One of the biggest things that you look at is the years of school and what degree you have. My experience working at Lenaro prior to ARM was that, your Git commit history or your GitHub account can actually serve as a resume as well. And so our our viewer here, Hybrid Robotics, is interested in knowing, asking Sudi and Alan, how do you feel about requirements for degrees versus actual practical experience in the job? And maybe we could, in the theme of, women in engineering, maybe we can also kind of focus on how women might interpret this, if that's okay. I don't know who would like to start, Alan or Sudi.
I'm happy either way. Okay.
Yeah.
This is quite a personal topic to me, as I mentioned earlier. And actually, so I personally believe that a formal education is really important, but it's not the requirement. I personally, as Mary was talking about earlier, I personally have imposter syndrome mainly because I didn't get a university education. And I do know what I don't know. But when I've talked to people, or when I was in a hiring manager capacity, university education could open the door, but also so could enthusiasm, drive. If I saw evidence of somebody being so enthusiastic about programming that they were applying for jobs and learning without that formal education. A good example is a friend of mine from Portland who will be starting at ARM in 2 months' time. She was hopefully she doesn't mind me talking about this, but she was a dental hygienist. And in her 40s, she went back to I think a college and learned computer science because she really wanted to work in computer science. And, she's redefined her life later in life, and it's really inspiring. And I think that means more in some cases.
What about you, Sudi?
For me, as a hiring manager, I think whenever I come across profiles, again, we mostly look at experience, more than what degree they've had. Like in ARM, we have so many people who had completely different degrees than what they're doing now. So for us, and for fresh graduates who might not have actual industry experience, we are looking for those kind of projects they're doing, whether they're doing it at home or those GitHub links if they have. So if they are doing things which are already relevant to us, they are, for me as a hiring manager, definitely a highlight than just a computer science degree from a specific university.
Great points, I think, from both of you. Yeah,
that's a good question.
Great question, Dale.
Yeah.
Hybrid Robotics, like I said, I think he's been watching these Innovation Coffees since we started and has not missed a single episode, as far as I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah. And I should mention, he is an ARM ambassador. So he's a fellow ARM ambassador to you, Dominica and Margaret. Mary, I think for time constraints here, because we're getting to the top of the hour.
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left.
Maybe we can go to that last question. You can ask for Dominica and Margaret, and then we can kind of start winding down here.
Yeah. So Dominica and Margaret, so we want to give you the last question. And that question is what message would you like to give to our developer community? So I'll let, I don't know who wants to go first. Maybe Margaret, I'll go with you.
Okay, so what I would tell them is, especially with the women or the girls, that you don't need, the guys seem to know it all, but actually in natural fact they don't know it all. They will be just talking about it, and so it brings down your confidence. But I would tell them that believe in yourself and just know what you want and go for it. That's all. Believe in yourself that you can do anything that you set out to do. And once you have done it, you are also able to do it. So just go for it.
Totally.
Love that.
Okay.
And Dominica, last message
Okay.
from you.
So thank you. I would just like to remind everyone that the tech industry needs to diversify. That includes women and underrepresented groups. Your interest in becoming an ARM ambassador or developer, it's sincerely a step in the right direction. You should stay persistent, be confident, and don't be afraid to carve your own path. Risk help you learn after all.
Yes.
I love it. Love it.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mary, I think you get the last. By the way, awesome responses. I love that, and thank you, because those are messages directly to the ARM community that you are all a part of, and I'm so excited to hear the things you all are saying. Mary, you get the last word here. I think you have a few things you wanted to close out on yourself.
Yes.
Put the episode down.
Thanks, Robert. So first of all, I want to thank our panel, our guests, especially Dominica and Margaret. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today and with us. We hope we can do this again. I think you're really an asset to the ambassador program. And so thanks very much. And Ilan and Sudi, thank you so much for sharing your experiences at ARM. And so I would also like to just shout out to the Developer Hub. If anybody watching this is really interested in learning, regardless of your level of technical expertise, if you're just starting out, you have no idea how to get started, there's something there for you, all the way up to very, very experienced. If you're in, embedded machine learning, go check out the Developer Hub. Robert is doing a whole innovation coffee on it next week. We're going to be walking you through it. All the details about the hub and what you can find there will be next week. So if you're interested in that, do not miss it. Make sure you tune in for that. And then if anybody out there is either interested in learning more about our partner program or what we do with ecosystem, or just in general, working at ARM, happy to have you. Hit me up on LinkedIn, send me a private message, or you can send it to my email at ARM, which is mary.benyon@arm.com. I don't know, Michael, if you want to throw that up there. I'm happy to have anybody, send me a direct email. We do love talking to our partners and developers and everybody in our ecosystem. So, and Robert, thank you for finally having me on the show. It's been a while. I bet you better invite me back.
Oh, you're always invited. You can just be
I'll just crash
as a standard co-host.
Okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank you. Awesome. So it's my turn then, yeah?
Yes.
We got this. All right. So I, genuinely, I'm just so grateful for your time. All 5 of you joining here on Innovation Coffee. I can't thank you enough. I say this a lot, but you could have spent this hour doing anything else. And you spent it here with me, right? Of course, each other, but with me. And I'm just so grateful. So I want to take just 1 second here to remind everyone why we joined to do this panel today. And that's to celebrate the Women in Engineering Day. And that happens tomorrow, June 23rd. So I would just encourage you all, if you watch the beginning of the episode, encourage you all, take some time, take a few minutes out of your day, go online, search about, some of the amazing women around the world who have contributed to literally everything that we experience in technology and humanity through engineering. So yeah, thank you. Once again, we're going to close this out. I want to give one other final reminder here that, Dominica touched on a bunch of times throughout the episode. Don't forget to sign up to the ARM Developer Program. I'm going to bring that banner up one more time, arm.com/developer program. It'll take you there. There's a button to sign up. Doesn't take anything to become a member. Join us on Discord, hang out with us, participate in the community, get access to resources, access to engineers, one-on-one sessions, office hours, these live streams, everything that you can think about in terms of developing and building the future on ARM. And so we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, everyone. I think we're going to close this out. So I'm gonna hit the outro button in just a second, but maybe we could all just give a wave.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Cheers.
Coffee.